Welcome everyone to more live Linux development here on our channel. Some weeks ago I asked regarding what would you like to see in improvements in the T2 Linux installer. Actually, I should have probably opened that. And most people wanted a better text installer, so I asked somewhere like here. And the question is, as usual, people didn't comment there much. I mean, sometimes they comment and stuff, but they did not comment the most. Yeah, so, okay, fair enough. In the meantime, it's like 58 votes. Okay, most people want graphical. Yeah, as usual, leave in the comments below this video, right? This will be a short video. So, sure, graphical. The only problem is a lot of vintage stuff doesn't have graphic support. Sync, various SGI variants, not upstream, not perfect, not near, or Hewlett-Packard or other Sun stuff, often basic frame buffer, unisolated at best. But, and then of course the thing is, yeah, probably you want like some big Linux distribution, right? Although the other thing, I also asked full life system. I mean, I would see like full life system, and if you want to run X, you run X. But yeah, leave in the comments below. So other thing is better text installer, which I kind of sort of would agree with, although some people wanted curl that, of course, and pipe to shell because take over. But with text installer, it is, so basically all is difficult. I mean, I'm aware it could be better. As a pure user, taking cue from other successful systems like macOS, I would actually like expect like booting that like fully. I mean, even macOS is not perfect, right? You boot into a not full life system, only a bare minimal graphical system. As a user, I probably would like boot to a fully working system and install it, like maybe has QNX innovated that with a one floppy web browser microkernel demo, maybe. Maybe I should research that another time for another video, who actually did that first. So as a user, maybe fully booting live system. The only complication is, as with graphical, I mean, graphical would be optional. You boot and like you run then graphical, Wayland or X. I would say kind of sort of like pure open Darwin stuff of booting to text terminal and then start X or Wayland if you want to. Because obviously graphic is so often not available in our systems. But otherwise, text installer, right? For me personally, I started that. I wanted to do, as per usual, win-win. I wanted to make one small change. I find I mean, yeah, I'm totally biased, right? I'm not the pure developer of that. Claire has done a lot of stuff back in the day. Of course, I maintained that like for the last 20 years. And if I wouldn't be mostly satisfied, I wouldn't have maintained that. So I'm certainly mostly biased, obviously, but it's also not getting much in the way, right? You just run install and stuff, and it's like keyboard. I mean, even the keyboard mapping is not to you guys at home, because I personally like none, just like freaking don't care. But otherwise, it's like I think I added that just like 15 years ago for you actually you playing along at home for your I mean, even I with a German keyboard, I can get away with the US one, but then I'm not running our French or certs key, whatever. The only thing I agree that this dialog stuff looks ugly and could be better usability, and it's like, yeah. But leave in the comments below. I wanted to do one thing, so yeah, as I said in the beginning, leave in the freaking comments below because I need more input, because there is this running gag of Henry Ford asking, or would have asked customers what do you want, and they would have wanted a faster horse. So yeah, faster horse, right? It is. Leave in the comments below, because even with better text, sure, I added this point there to vote, but even I, it's like, yeah, what exactly, right? So, I mean, sure, I mean, sure, maybe, but yeah, leave in the comments below. I mean, one pick would be make it live, although only 16% voted live system. I mean, if we full live system, and then you can run X, and you don't have the whole install process, but simply like run rsync as an installer of install all the freaking live system. Maybe that would be a combination of all of these points, and then combine it with just freaking curl it to your shell and take over your systems, and we have, hey, win-win of implementing all of it. But anyway, leave me in the comments below. Although we have one. Toby asking for, by the way, are we, hey, 0 frames because we stream over LTE, we have also have audio, I should have checked. So yeah, welcome everyone, and hope you're doing fine. Arch install was just enough. I actually never used that, maybe I should. Maybe you could write one line or quick point sentence of what that does differently. Today I wanted to quickly change this boot up, which we booted through already. Have we... Alright, I did probably run that here. Is that the same one? Let me... does it fully boot like that? For illustration purposes, maybe, maybe not. Probably, maybe not. By the way, I even grabbed the sources. I'm somewhat inclined to patch this hello world away. This, I find this highly unprofessional. That is, however, in the Apple Silog. Did I delete that already? Oh, or I'm in the wrong. I grabbed that, and that is in the Arch PowerPC. You debug PowerMac SCC thing. So as it is only like one like serial console driver, I was like, yeah, maybe YOLO, whatever. But if this would be all of PowerPC, because I've seen this a couple of times and always was like, yeah, what bloody unprofessionalism. But as it's only one freaking serial driver, maybe I leave it there. But what I quickly wanted to, and now we killed, did we, yeah, is that, oh right, wait a second, where is, the one thing I wanted to quickly change is, but how do we test it then? Is actually the second stage selection there, and that usually does work, except if you have, it's like, yeah, implementing corner cases. There's usually like a second stage selection, and it's like if we have only one here, then it detects the right one, and we have there some stuff of only choosing removable devices, and that usually works. Like, I think for me it works 90+% of the cases if you have multiple devices anyway, like sync USB stick. But the one thing it doesn't work usually is the P3, and as you know, we love the P3. So I quickly wanted to, where's my mouse cursor? So, and a quick idea I had already the other day is to change that to use the by label thing here and use T2SDE in case there is one volume like that. That also, as then I need to format. Yeah, but anyway, to just raise this 90% working to 99% working, I would need to manually format my, or set the label of my P3 test stick then. But anyway, so that is here in target share install, and that is root fs init, and second stage here somewhere of should this not be? Wait a second here. Wait a second. This is earlier. This is in init rd. That one probably. Somewhere like here. And as per usual, I find this mostly readable shell stuff actually quite useful. Easy to edit, easier to edit and follow than shell. I would I would say, do we have some read link there already? Yes, we have. And so read link def, so we can, did I kill that apparently? Maybe I did. So that would be the ID that we use. And so where do we have default? Here, default. So We could, for example, we could initialize that. If no def wait for device to appear, default Linux USB cell delay is 5 seconds. Which, by the way, do we patch that? We would need to update this default potentially. 0 default and log removable. Yeah, I guess we need to update this, because if we wait for this USB settle, this default wouldn't update. So I guess default equals this read link here, so that would be read link the volume ID. Today I muted that in time. So read link that should probably return the relative or something. By disk, by label. So basically we could hardcode that, and there should be, I mean, one or more. The only thing is, does it probably error out, right? If it doesn't, oh no, it doesn't. Interesting. Okay, good. One less thing. So read link def disks disk, yeah, by label t2 sde. Oops. Means theoretically, should we shorten that? Def disk by label. Means theoretically this SD is a little bit superfluous. Maybe just T2 would be a tiny little bit nicer potentially. Maybe we should change that, huh? To be very honest. So then if we have that, also remove all the, so it might be empty, but that, wait a second, do we? So I think with new shell, I think like 20 years ago once we needed quotes for empty, but maybe not. And then remove all the trailing. Trailing is that. To any whatever absolute or relative path that might be. Chimera says, as installer, they had issues with the ENUS locale not being set correctly. With the latest builds, I mean, previously with the cross-build ones, we didn't have all the locales, not locale DB, not cross-build. That might potentially probably be solved with the latest ISOs that we are about to be released potentially. So default here, where do we need to compare that now? I think, so this still might be none, and so with the old code we leave here for 0 and removable, then default equals j. Okay, we have here this number. Does it also work with, what was the output? We don't have default equals 1. So maybe we need to update that. Maybe for this to just work. I mean, the number is just user convenience. Of course, for the computer program, the real device name is more valuable. It's just that you don't type that for the most part. I think a device number or device file name. I mean, I mean, it could probably even work, to be honest, if we, I mean, why not? You know, let's leave it like that. I like this device name even a little bit more. I would say, wait a second, we need the full device name, don't we? Number or device file name default. Just not, also honestly, this doesn't look the most amazing. This default equals. No, maybe we leave it like this. I would put the kinder inclined to put the column, but not to change so much stuff. But that is the stuff of even text usability, right? You can always quickly print there something, but really reviewed, peer-reviewed, outstanding, consistent stuff is of course another level, which maybe we should reach one day. So that should work, except we need def, so maybe we update that after all, because either we would need to substitute that here to, when we have, what was the, I always forget this is only thing with this cryptic stuff that even I need to Google if, how was it even, like that. I guess that to add this only if it exists. Actually, we can combine this. I mean, it's a little bit cryptic, but so that is the leading part. So basically, if defined, then if defined, then def and the trailing part, that probably should work. I kind of think maybe we should in one, this T2 SDE is just, for that to work we would need, you know what, which, volume T2, you know what, let's, you know, it's actually not too bad. I mean, just T2 and T2 SDE there, disk something. And are we on the right tag? Let me quickly think. Yeah, that actually should work. It comes actually doing release engineering. I should have released that already, but that was one thing. I was wasting previous video, wasting too much time with P3 stuff. That is the nature of the last people doing that fun stuff. And then let's test boot that if that works. I will not commit this into the tag though, unless I don't double check that, but so default, yeah, that worked. So SR0, so that now has the default equals that. The only thing is, should we change this? It looks so strange. Here's actually, you know what, this is inconsistent. Huh. Yeah, this is what I either colon. I think we should change this when we touch this already. Oops. I think that should look slightly more consistent and professional. We should test that it actually really works. So that was now T2, right? We have L here? How do we get that interesting thing? That was dev disks by label. Here, T2. And so that should theoretically work with other devices. So like, for example, on the P3, we have complex flash and MMC, is it MMC, SD. Actually, theoretically, I have some Sony memory stick even, and what else it has. And then USB, of course. And so on the P3, it nearly never accidentally randomly selected the other, obviously. And I was thinking whether to mount it, but on the P3, we often have regressions. And I try to avoid accessing, like producing I/O unnecessarily, not to cause kernel bugs. Thing. I had floppy oops on Ultra 5, I had constantly regression on the P3 and stuff, so we could also, actually to be fair, UDEV already accesses that, so to create that link, but yeah, anyway, not to access, like for example mounting that, we could mount that and see if the files are there, but that is, in my opinion, way too much disk I/O when we can have the simple solution. So the only things we should theoretically check, that's this, where's my mouse cursor? All right, this is. By the way, I think I had here this regression with input not working in X, and I think this might be Wayland and QEMU actually, because I was wondering why it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. So I think this might actually be a Wayland regression, unfortunately. Like running QEMU and Wayland and X Wayland or whatever. I wonder, so can we run QEMU with native Wayland? Anyway, so many questions. That's probably why it's the year of the Linux desktop. PowerPC. Let's test that one more time without a CD-ROM, or another, actually better with another CD-ROM. So that would be toolchain ISO FS. So let's use another ISO. Ah, wait, that doesn't. What is the best to test that? Actually, this will not boot and we didn't have graphic. Unless we. Nah, complications always. I mean, I could quickly. Maybe the easiest test is actually to. Change the ID here again. Oops. Not revert this, but just T2X, so should be enough to. Because otherwise, if we boot with no graphics, the last time I didn't have the console there, and not feeling like wasting time with that now. Even with coming back to the installer, even a full live system is not the easiest thing for network booting classic Unix machines. Yeah, just when we had this. So, especially when we network boot for testing stuff, unless I don't think the kernel comes with some fuse over whatever. Okay, so this would actually be the other use case. Actually, so so we tested actually the other use case. So now the ID didn't match and it defaulted to 2 base. So this would be the old number default, not the worst thing that you can differentiate that. So I guess that makes some sense. Tiny little improvement here. Basically 2 alternatives to select the default device there. And yeah, looking forward to your feedback. As you know, we use this YouTube here not only to generate income, but also polls. and improving all of this stuff. Let's also need to commit that. So back to Troubleshooting. And maybe we commit this actually together. Install, how many do we? Oh darn, I intentionally didn't have this. Intentionally don't have the copyright there to save some bytes, because don't need to overdo that. But you know what, it's a new, speaking of overdoing that. And create ISO. Ah darn, this is change. Oops. Yeah, the ISOs also get larger and larger. Oh wait, there's still the... Yeah. Maybe one more time of... By the way, is the other... Yeah, I think I had the same prompt with a colon. Should we double check that too? Yeah, computer development usually... Oops. Double checking... Ah wait, this is in the next installer, that is... Yeah, this is also column and space, it's the same style. Improved shared installer to match install media by disk label. Use T2 instead of T2SD4. Improved shared installer to match install media by match or find. Use T2 instead of T2SD for create ISO disk label. I think that is. I could have. No, I think that's fine. The only other thing would be, I noticed on the P3 that we can kill this init here. Do we have machine press power button? Does this not have that? Maybe we use the... Do we have a... Let's switch back to the tag. Amazing, right? Version control. Loving that stuff long before Linus Torvalds properly version controlled that. 64. It's just that probably should build nothing, hopefully. And then let's maybe see. I think that something should have a send power button thing, hopefully. Ah, there it was. There. Does it fits on one? Lucky us. KVM, do we have apparently everything for that enabled? And okay, this is so fast that defaulting to white does. Don't tell me what have we. Don't tell me we botched this. What was it? Dash V? Oh, darn. Ah, right, because we switched the tag, obviously. Okay, fine. Everything's fine. So on the P3, when I press the power button, I get an oops. And can we trigger an ACPI? Must be somewhere. Maybe Q API something. Maybe switching to AC system power down. Let's see. Yeah, nothing like system. Let's see what happened. Oops. Oh, this context menus was Wayland. Nothing. Okay. Das. I would think PowerPC should potentially have the same support. Maybe PowerPC senses differently. Actually, did I ever press? It should be triggerable on a laptop, right? If I press, or even a workstation for that matter. But maybe PowerPC handling is in some way, shape or form slightly different. What is the key binding for that? Ah, Control Alt. System power down. Let's see what we got. Or nothing. Okay, maybe it could also be a. So apparently nothing. So far so good. So much to testing that. Maybe it is a P3 regression then. Kernel related. More testing. Okay, fine. Because otherwise we could trap that. Apparently nothing happened though. Yeah, I thought we get a signal there of some sorts to init. Maybe we do. I mean, maybe that is a valid combination. Some, who knows? Pity. Okay, that is still for another day. Do we have something mount by? No, this is something else. What's the power button? Best without typo. Power button. So maybe some not, but at least PS3. Yeah, that is a strange one. I still got the same. I just tested that today. How long do we live stream for? You know what? Let's maybe do one bonus thing. Because I saw the other day I somehow accidentally deleted my to-do for some strange reason. Don't quite get how. Probably I should run better FS with proper daily snapshots for people as stupid as myself. But anything not perfect we will refine anyway. But so one thing is this is why is this happening? I think. Yeah, so I get even this in my system. I mean, this is also annoying, and this is a little bit funny, but this one here certainly, it's like, yeah, probably it is installing. Okay, this is so it's probably running LS wrong. That's like a 2021. I mean, to be fair, of the 300 default packages, only one is causing that, but it's probably time to finally tackle that. It's like, you can't make this shit up, right? You build stuff and you get this nonsense. I mean, and I'm pretty sure I get this for years already. For it's probably like for a year or two, or maybe it's because we set some variable to ln, but probably not. Or could it be our install? Or I mean, maybe it's our fault, but it happens with no other package. So, yeah, cheers. Do I need more coffee? Dashboard's issue with the partitioning mostly and UEFI validation. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, partitioning we use upstream, right? So that would be upstream parted and stuff. I mean, the only thing, I mean, maybe I'm too much of a power user to be annoyed by that. I mean, the only annoying thing with partitioning is for me two things. So with x86 and stuff, I have like not really an issue, but maybe I'm too much of a power user. My more of an issue is even I remembering after 20 years what special bootstrap and stuff partitions are needed for PowerPC, for Apple PowerPC, for IBM Prep PowerPC, for SunSpark and stuff. So maybe there would be a just freaking partition that and kiss my data goodbye with some architecture, like doing the right thing except kissing your data goodbye for Spark and PowerPC. But question there. Prover want to become developer. Amuse me to know that free resources like Linux is so underrated. I mean, lots of people are using that, right, from Tesla to SpaceX, so I'm underrated. I mean, it amuses me that the only, I mean, beside Linux is not as amazing as it could be, in my opinion, in my recurring opinion, held back by decades of legacy C code and still continuing that as state of the art in the Linux ecosystem, not only kernel, but also user space tools, but even more so that what amuses me, did you write amuse? Yeah. What amuses me more is that 90 or 85% of the world population still keeps up with the Windows bullshit. I just try to use, I used Windows a little bit more the last, I mean, I'm basically Windows free since 1998 or yeah, probably 1998. I only run Windows for testing stuff, reverse engineering, testing, and stuff. So I basically don't use Windows for 20 years. And each time, sure, I can freaking use Windows, as super annoying as it is, but it amuses me each time I use Windows how buggy it is, like how inconsistent, how buggy. With the P3, it not really Windows fault, but all the surrounding stuff when I had to recover my DECR tool PC P3 the last days. I mean, how buggy and cumbersome. I mean, I had everything from stupid network configuration to failing sys mount to just always being annoying. It's ridiculous. I mean, that is, as imperfect as Linux is, Windows certainly is even more imperfect, and probably the only thing is binary compatibility, right? All the business running x86 software, but otherwise, like Windows is such a complete chaotic failing bullshit. It's the only thing Windows is not failing is in market share, and certainly that is money, and paying all the marketing money and competition there and antitrust stuff. So what did we, all right, lib, let's maybe check the log there of this stuff to at least, but we as usual digress. So questions for ADM logs, that lib utf. I wonder, do we only have that for Subversion or something? I don't even remember for what this was needed. All the crazy packages we added here is, yes, oh wait a second, this is even, it's using lnfs. That is bizarre. Maybe we copied that wrong. Maybe we install it ourselves because it doesn't have an installer or something. Maybe it's our fault after all. utf8 proc. Also, having not an installer thing in 20 years, so that is using installer. Okay, it's our fault. Maybe we should double check if it still doesn't have an installer. Ah, that's freaking CMake. Does this free CMake not have an installer, or did this installer, this option install enable install? Yes, yes, but this installation is on. What the heck? A new option build disable make install or auto. Here it's maybe make install a rule to automate updating the Unicode. What? For compilation of the C library and make, you can also install the library header files. Make prefix. There is actually, maybe we should actually use that then. Not sure if I make install, no kidding. Make prefix on dir. Do we even run this? Oh, wait a second, maybe we use the make file, not the cmake file, or actually here it has both. Not sure why we don't use it then. Also, we need to override this libdir. I guess we want to check that. Actually, maybe we should check why we disable that utf8 proc. Let's first svn blame that, or yeah, let's svn blame that. Okay, that was mostly me. Apparently, should we? We even touched that recently. That was okay. It's doing some. Okay, this was packaging that. Yeah, I don't really quite remember, to be honest. I mean, obviously, I don't remember after 20,000 revisions. Whatever. Well, I mean, although maybe in 2007, maybe it didn't even hit an install script. Who knows? So let's disable that and see what happens. I would say. It even did something. That was, should have used the same log. I think we built 64. Yeah, install, so that even, I mean, it didn't use the right, did we log this running make? No, there's install. It even got the destir right. The only thing is, so okay, prefix happened to be, so the only thing is libdir. Not sure. Where did I unpack that here? Or so libdir has this. Okay, this prefix. So I guess they have the destir here. Yeah, destir is here. Just wanted to make sure of that. I mean, this is in the meantime also so little code we surely can bring that back to the conf. So destir is added. So libdir, does it include the full? Yeah, that includes the slash. And as that is now much less code, let's bring it here. And delete this then. I mean, what we should do is actually remove that fully, not to have this stray file in the ISO. And then we have one other tiny little thing corrected. libdir, that is the right one. So yeah, that I would say that does it look, or does it install the include header? Yeah, the include. That looks about right. lnfs. Yeah. Yeah, probably also a little bit, maybe I've been done. It is even possible that with some nonsense like this I recently deleted my to-do. Who knows? So, one to do here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there after a while. It adds quite a bit up, so that is fixed. That is, yeah, very few things. Each basically, yeah, 3 years. I mean, when I started, like restarted after like 15 years to main streaming T2, there were so many of these various messages accumulated after 15 years. So it's very, very, very few things left, I hope, including this default prompt stuff that we cleaned up some minutes ago. Alright, the only other thing I know, I need to revert this shit. That is really... Still wonder how I deleted the to-do. But yeah, not that much is lost. All the major to-do things are on GitHub, and at least then my mind is freer, is not having to think about all those other regressions. I really hate this SVN merge info though. This is some new thing. It didn't do that 15 years ago, and yeah. Also, there's one thing we probably copy and pasted wrong. So yeah, that's it for this video. As I said earlier, leave in the comments below what exactly you would want to see improved with the installer. The question is if we run new remove now. Hope you learned something as usual. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you soon for more such live code stuff to come. It's rescheduled to GCC. That was not really what why does it? Not really what I wanted, that's why I tested that. Did we really change? Or is it, or maybe there is some, oops. Is it probably from the GCC test update stuff? Does it still remove that if we do that for all builds to ship it? Shit. Somehow it does. Okay, fine. We wanted PowerPC 64, 32 job. Best without typo. Maybe not use a membrane keyboard. Especially not a 20-year-old Sun membrane one. Let's see if it overrides this. Probably it does override this with force, right? But always a good thing to double check. Of user lib. Yeah, that overrode this with force nicely. So There we have that also. And that's it for this video. Hope to see you soon. Also next video to come.